Hi, I'm Tangles. This is my garage and this is my car. Now time to install these rotors. Now there's a few other jobs to do at the same time. Also, yeah, had a bit of a garage tidy up. Need to be done. Before I commit to that, those brakes, you know, because while you're there, I've got some goodies from WTAC. I got some rear camber arms because I need to stand those wheels up at the back, if nothing else, just to figure out what size wheels I'm going to run later, so as I know the final sort of position. The front cambers are about where they're going to be. New wheel nuts, steel, not aluminium. These are to replace the bloody shitty internal thready things that are a pain in the ass, and a lock nut, etc, etc. I've got this for the gearbox. I forgot what it's called. It's not a pillow ball. Or is it a pillow ball? Anyway, pivot ball for the gearbox. A mate of mine, you know, had a V35 run the same part number and it shattered it. Apparently it's quite a common thing. These aren't that sort of easy to come by. In, you know, WTAC sell them obviously, but and they're only $15, I think it was. But you know, if your gearbox fails, you don't want to be waiting 3 weeks for one to turn up. So mate wanted one as a spare. I bought one as a spare for my gearbox, and yeah, that's, you know, while you're there sort of stuff. New brake lines. These are a, you know, 33 GTST front and rear brake line kit. Should fit. These I think are a dust boot for that. Obviously these are part of the camber arms. Rear camber arm assembly. A magnetic stud, magnetic sump plug, and a set of studs for the front, so I can delete those spaces, which, you know, were fine for that event, but I don't want to keep running on spaces and have that additional weakness. So all that's going to go in the car. Well, not all of that, but most of that, all the good stuff's going to go in the car as part of the brake upgrade at this time. So yeah, let's get this car jacked up and get started on the work. It's going to be, you know, a few days, sort of over a course of time. New pads are going to be going in as well. They're a WinMax W7 if I can get them in time. If not, I'll be getting the WinMax W6.5 pads, which are very close performance wise to the W7s. The whole selection criteria involved in that. It was, you know, quite a lot of research. And there's, you know, there's those Project Mo pads and things which are, you know, in theory just as good and whatever, but the WinMax, place that sells the WinMax is just down the road from work, and they were sort of easier to deal with. If anything else, it's come down to that for the final decision, and I'd rather have the W7s, but if they're not here in time, I can't run them anyway, so I might as well put the W6.5s in and just run those and see what happens. You know, those pads are being used in, you know, proper time attack car and time 8 rally cars and gravel rally cars, you know, at the very, very top end. So yeah, they're more than sufficient, and they're going to be quite noisy and horrible on the road. But yeah, this is not for road use. So, well, it will get driven on the road, but it's not its primary role. So I've got to make sacrifices. All right, let's get started. Something I just remembered after poking my head in the car. Just see there, that's an empty extinguisher slot. Extinguisher's down here. There's no safety pin in it because it had to be used. Thankfully it wasn't on my car, it was on my mate's car. which is cactus. Only a very short burst. Obviously you got to replace these as soon as you use it. The thing is, which neither is still, I mean, I knew that dry powder extinguishers were reasonably harsh on all materials, to the point of doing a fire training thing at work one day, and they said if you've got a PC fire and it's contained, you're better off letting it burn than spraying it with one of those, because there'll be less damage to the PC. Yeah, corrodes electrical components and things like that. So it's pretty hardcore stuff. Now he's got a high mount, not dissimilar. He's got a sort of a custom made 6 boost-esque manifold, twin scroll, twin wastegate, sort of dump pipe in an approximately similar position and things like that. Wastegates here and vacuum lines sort of running through here to for the computer, and the wastegates, etc., for boost control. Something happened, we're not sure what. We assume that, you know, just somehow he's had a bloody gasket failure down the bottom. We know the gasket failed. It was chewed into 1,000 pieces. There's almost none of it left. Anyway, hot gases got out, stuff melted, fell onto even hotter bits, caught on fire, caught his bonnet liner on fire. I use that extinguisher, yeah, as little as possible. Worried about temperature shock, you know, being on a hot turbo and shit, more than anything else. And it was all ceramic coated too. He had everything ceramic coated before it went in the car, thermal insulation and no wrapping, which, you know, looks cool. But wrapping is better for actual thermal insulation, but it should have been fine. I mean, there's many cars out there with no wrapping. Anyway, yeah, the dry powder extinguisher pretty much fisted it instantly, ate it apart, destroyed it. So you can see where the dry powder sort of burned into the materials. It's quite odd. Yeah, so if you do ever have to use an extinguisher, look up, Google the sort of a particular method, and you got to sort of chemically you know, neutralize the active ingredients of the extinguisher. It's not just a case of wiping it off. You've got, because that heat, it melts, is the way it works. Anyway, you got to look it up. Get the shit off as soon as possible is the long and short of it. Just get that shit off it. I'm going to look into maybe a CO2 extinguisher instead of a dry powder for my next one. The worry or concern then is thermal shock. CO2 extinguishers are incredibly cold when they burst out, so it's an expanding gas. It's going to be freezing cold, and CO2 extinguishers are, you know, like known for being used for blasting super cold air or, you know, super chilling stuff. So yeah, I have to look at just how cold it is and what the risk is of a thermal shock event on the turbine, and whether or not that's more or less dangerous or hazardous than the dry powder. Obviously both of those are far less hazardous than fire, especially in an engine bay, hot engine bay. So we'll just have to see what I come up with. But yeah, good news, the engine worked just fine all weekend, during the event and after the event. So I drove this out to the event, ran it all day, and then drove it home. So, you know, most of the other guys there are on trailers, and they're on slicks, etc. It's, you know, very much the bottom end. I was pretty much the worst car there. But yeah, it was still a good day, and I was happy enough with how it all went down. Yeah, alright, let's get back on track.